Morning, everybody. We are heading into our fourth summer. We kick off on May 24th this year. Morning, Joe. Morning. Live in Viroqua probably would not be a thing if it weren't for my hire at the hotel coordinator. I kind of had a vision after getting hired there to shut down Fourthstream and make it pedestrian, make it an entertainment space. Unfortunately, that got kind of kiboshed by the owners because they just spent a lot of money on an ADA ramp along the hotel, and they want guests to deliver their luggage to be able to easy access. So we settled on an idea of doing every other Saturday music, and that has been so successful. Our first show, we had the scaffolding stage. It was 50 degrees, and it was kind of misty, and it was just terrible. It was super cold, but, you know, we figured it out. We got the musicians in town. They showed up. About 100 people came, and there was just a dancing snake of people for Joseph Huber. And that really just was like, okay, people came. We're doing something right. And now, you know, we've had some groups, Dead Horses, High Mileage, a local group. We had the People Brothers band with Good Morning Bedlam Labor Day weekend a couple years ago, and I think there was probably 1,500 people. So Live in Viroqua will always remain free for the public, so there's no ticket prices. Everybody can come, family friendly. People dance with their dogs. So we're super excited about how Live in Viroqua has just really become a staple for summer entertainment.
Mm-hmm. And then I guess the precursor to that was the Driftless Music Festival, which is still going on. That's a one-day festival that happens the second Saturday in July every year. We took a couple of years off for COVID, 20 and 2021, but it started in 2012 was the first one. And what that whole festival is about bringing like 4 or 5 bands, maybe a little more depending, but we have it through one day, but it's all about having different kinds of bands throughout the whole day. So you can hear bluegrass, you can hear Cajun, you can hear jazz, you can hear funk, you can hear, rockabilly. It's all in one day. And that's the kind of point of that is to bring some music that normally might not be heard here in our rural community, but also be able to get some people excited about that and inspire them. And also it's super family friendly and also free. And it's free because of it's all volunteer run, right? And of course, all of our generous donations from sponsors of businesses and individuals. So our mission, I can let you read it, but our mission is Fourthstream is a passionate group of cultural entrepreneurs committed to enriching the Driftless region through live music community celebrations such as Live in Viroqua and the Driftless Music Festival. Our mission is to build community, celebrate our culture, welcome visitors, and create a positive impact by providing high-quality, diverse, accessible live music experiences for all. And through collaboration means our partnerships with the city, with the chambers, with our local businesses. And innovation meaning we like to bring different types of acts every year. We want to change it up. We want to continue to bring new crowds in. We want to expose more people to different kinds of things. And a deep love for our region. Obviously, we have to love this place to be able to put these things on and enjoy it. And we aim to create a thriving, vibrant music scene that enhances the social fabric and inspires creativity in our community.
Neat little side note to that, cultural entrepreneurs. Our first international artist that we had play Live in Viroqua year 2 was Yawo. He came from the country of Togo, Africa.
Right.
And he wrote an email to us, and you could just feel his excitement about wanting to come play. And he's like, hello, my cultural entrepreneur friends. We love that. So we kind of coined ourselves that from Yawo, which is is a neat little story. He was it's fantastic energy we had.
That's right. And his emails, there's English a barrier, and when we did book him, his emails like would say, please wire this amount of money to this account, and we're just like, wait, is this like a scam? Who wires anymore? But that's part of the booking process is contracting these musicians, negotiating, making sure we're all on the same page. I want to tell you guys, we can both tell us a little bit about the history of Fourthstream. So it actually started by an idea of having the Viroqua Jazz Festival. And that was back in the, middle 2000s, 2011 or something like that. Is that right?
I believe the idea for the Jazz Festival was 07 or 08.
Okay.
And then Charlie and the boys took it over and created Driftless Music Festival.
Yeah, that's right. Charlie Nord. Yeah, Justin and I and the work we do, we're just carrying on the work that people have been doing before us. They've been laying the foundation. There's a lot of people that do love this region and do want to make great things happen and do love music. And so I think we're just following in their footsteps and taking it to the next level.
I think through our work with the Friends of Vernon County Parks or Music in the Parks, which is another series running in the summer on Wednesdays, Charlie and Joel and Phil were kind of getting to the age of post-COVID that they wanted to hand it off to somebody. So I think through our work together with the Music in the Parks, that's kind of how they were like, this is a perfect opportunity to hand it off to somebody that will care for it and continue to make it thrive for the community.
And so basically what happened is Charlie was sitting there at the Driftless Cafe about 2011 and with some friends, and he looking out the window and going, gosh, wouldn't it be great if we could close off this street here, this Court Street, and put on a music festival? And so the idea started turning and turning and turning. And although it didn't end up at on Court Street at that time, he was walking through the park at Eckhart Park. He remembers his dad playing in like the community band, and it just came to him, and he like pretty much went straight to City Hall, went to go talk to Boone, who is the Park and Rec guy, and they go like, what do you think about this? They went back and forth on what to call this festival. They thought about calling it the Charlie Fest for a while. By the way, this is Charlie Dorr, this is Bill Von Long, and this is Joel Johnson. So that was the original Fourthstream Dream Team. And they started up that Driftless Music Festival. Again, one-day festival, different kinds of music all day. I think maybe there was 350 or so that first year, all volunteer run, sponsored by businesses and individuals. And then it just continued to go from there. And as I said, it went very strong, and we had to take a break in 2020 and 2021 due to COVID, the safety of our public. And then we came back in full vengeance, and we've been having 35 to 4,000 people come through Viroqua on that one particular day. And then by that same time that we're bringing that back, Live in Viroqua was being dreamed up. How was that dreamed up?
Oh, like I kind of hinted upon earlier, it's because of my hire at the Fourthstream and wanting to close down that street, and just looking out the window from 2011 to 14, I lived in Madison. They have a great series called Live on King Street. I was like, let's bring Live on King Street to Viroqua, see if we can pull it up. And just kind of formulating that idea and reaching out to some friends. Say, hey, I got this crazy idea. Let's shut down the street. Let's throw a stage up there and have some food vendors and beer tent and talk to the city, get a permit, and we did that. The first year we bounced between Railroad Avenue at the Driftless Books and Music Store, which is a really beautiful spot for families. It's a little bit off the beaten path, not kind of in eyesight for folks that may not know what's happening. So we did ultimately in year 2 move all the events to Court Street. It does kind of help sustain the businesses that support us. So after the farmer's market on a Saturday morning, people can lunch or grab a book at Eddie's Bookstore, a record from Bad Axe Music, or grab coffee at Wonder State. And there's so many options, knowing that in the evening they're going to have some free quality music entertainment. So it all just kind of This was a crazy idea
So
one day.
the one did evolve from the other, because I'm fairly new to this area,
Yeah.
4 years ago.
Yeah.
So I remember going to the one by Railroad
On Railroad, yeah.
when I first came,
Yeah.
and then.
Oh yeah, that was the first year of Live and Broke.
Okay.
Yep, so in the beginning, having those first conversations probably in October of 21. It was Christina, myself, my partner Brandy, Chris Clemens was the executive director at the chamber at the time. Eddie Nix was there, Scott Clement, who runs the Bad Axe record store. Who else was that? We just kind of all got together and said, hey, I got this idea. Let's all just pull from each other and see what we can do.
Then of course I'm like, well, I might have a nonprofit that can work with it, because,
Yeah.
these
and
type of things don't go, I mean, the nonprofit is the key, being able to keep these things free and accessible as well as volunteer run and keep the money like flowing through that, whether it's like paying out artists or deposits, and also for the tax purposes, of course, donations.
Yeah, so that was amazing. I didn't have to do the paperwork and get incorporated myself or create something. Fourthstream kind of became that umbrella. It was already established with the Driftless Music Festival, and obviously it was a great idea to bring more entertainment, kind of with the same vision and goals that Live and Viroqua wanted to bring to the city. So Fourthstream became that entity for help.
And as Justin said, coming through COVID, Bill and Joel from the original Green Team of Fourthstream, they did their work and they went their ways, left their legacy, and then of course Charlie stayed on for one more year, and then Charlie retired last year. So we had to bring more people on board, and now we have, that's Christina, that's Justin, Brandy, and she's one of, if you see all these the photos that are out on the internet and on the Facebook page, that's Brandy. Brandy is essentially like I think that she's like making branding Viroqua and in her own way, and it's a fantastic thing. And then we have Emily, who you may know from WDRT. I don't think her last name is different, but this is what she goes by.
Yeah.
Right. And then Tanya from Forecast Electric, but also has been a huge volunteer. And so now we get together and meet and we bounce ideas off each other. Everybody. Great. But that's okay. We do this because I think there's one word in here, passion. That's why. I think that's one of the reasons we're just passionate about this community. We're passionate about bringing live music. We're passionate about seeing families be able to interact and kids running around and dancing and having just like the best life. I think one of the reasons I started putting on community events here in Viroqua is I'm a mother of 3 teenage boys, but they weren't teenagers for a while, and they needed to come with me everywhere I went. And I wanted to see live music, and I wanted to have them be a part of it. And so my best idea was how can I make all this work? How can I bring my kids to a community event and also work putting on something special for the community?
Yeah, a big part of the drive for me was I loved music for as long as I can remember, but always had to go see it. And finally, I was like, well, I've made all these connections at festivals and meeting band members and meeting managers along the way, just pretty much saying, wow, you're amazing after a show, and just getting a name or hanging out, having a pint or something. And I was like, oh, I know a lot of people. All of a sudden, let's just bring them here. And the response is amazing. People are really wanting to come to Viroqua to entertain the crowd because people show up. Live in Viroqua had 50 people out there every night. It wouldn't really make it worthwhile. But when a band from out of town can come and play in front of 1,000 folks, that's a really special evening for them. So it's really amazing the response we get for our events. Yeah, it's just a really special thing for us.
And of course, because we've become so popular, and we're basically building a music ecosystem here at Viroqua. We're part of it. Other people are building it too. Everything from the pretty farm out there to the music in the parks to the things that are happening just in the area, which is live music. We were just talking earlier about how many live music things are happening in the area. And some people have actually said, gosh, one's competing with the other. No, that's, what I've learned in my 20 years of booking music and putting on music is that the more brings more, and more diversity and more access to this, inspiration. So I just can put that right down, if somebody says there's too many things going on, because people will find, more people will come out because there's more things going on, and more people will come to town, which is, I think that's the next reason that, why? Why do we do it? And you're supposed to say. Together, and we can support local and regional and nationally renowned artists. They can come through, and of course local businesses. That's one of our big thing is we want to build economic wealth here in Viroqua and the Vernon County and the region. And by doing that, actually is events. When people come to town, they spend their money here, and they're exposed to something. And before you know it, they're on their phone looking for a place to live. And how can I be able to set up my business here? How can I be able to bring, what I know, be able to bring to that area, which continues to help grow the community, and hopefully in a positive way. And then, of course, providing the free and accessible live music. Again, back with that whole kid thing, where I was trying to bring kids to a place. If I had to spend $50 to get my family in, I have 3 boys, and one of them scrapes their knee or has a meltdown, which happened, and I'd have to leave, I would feel so out $50, because you just have to take care of the family, obviously. But being able to keep it free makes people be able to come in, come out when they want, and it also doesn't really discriminate about who has money and who doesn't too. So I think that's
absolutely
important.
We want everybody to do. Okay. Thank you.
I thought this is important because it kind of comes back to what we feel our impact is, and also what drives us too, to helping the local businesses. So I did a little math here, and since 2012, the Driftless Music Festival in Viroqua has brought well over 110 bands. And they've come from all over the country. They're local, they're regional, they're nationwide, and they're also from all over the world. So that's pretty amazing, I think. And those are in, between our 8 series of events and of course the one day music festival. And I also did some math. Actually, just in 2024 alone, between Live in Viroqua and the Driftless Music Festival, we had over a 12,000 person attendance. And they come right to the heart of the Viroqua, whether it's Eckhart Park or on Fourthstream, but they're all coming here, and whether they're residents or whether they're from out of town, they're all coming to our area and enjoying our community. And there's this metrics and math calculator that you can put in by the Americans for the Arts, I think it is. And so you can put in what happens when somebody comes to town and comes to a show, and what do they spend outside of that show, whether it's on gas, whether it's on lodging, whether it's on in a local business, getting a cup of coffee, or at a restaurant. And then you add that up, and in our summer long between June and September, it's $725,000. So that's pretty good for just a short chunk of time.
Ooh.
Yeah.
That's pretty good. Yeah.
When you see it, yeah. That's pretty
Look how happy this little girl is. That's one of Brandy's pictures.
That's something about Brandy. She captures moments. I don't know. I mean, she's just hanging out in the crowd. She's doing something goofy. She got it. And it turns out to be amazing going through all of those memories, the nights, and years now. There's some great pictures.
Just so amazing. You know, like Justin and I work really well together, you know, the whole board does. We bounce things off of each other, whether it's like coming in for Live in Viroqua or whether Driftless Music Festival. But Justin does a lot of the bulk of the booking for Live in Viroqua.
Yeah,
Take
that's
that
kind of
under his wing.
kind of a fun part of everything. It's super exciting to see who you can get to come to town.
Just announced with
Last Monday.
Monday.
Yeah, so a week and a half ago. You will see one name on there right at the beginning, Work, on May 24th. That is the only band that is returning to Live in Viroqua. All the other bands listed there will be first timers. I'm guessing you'll see some familiar faces on those in those bands. Yeah.
Did you plant that?
No, I did not. I got lost. Everybody, Greg Hall.
Right there.
July 19th. Pretty.
I don't think it's
Yeah, there's going to be some other artists you might recognize. Andy and Nick, they're going to be playing with Buffalo Gospel. They should be in the Viroqua Music Hall of Fame. They play in every band, I think, every year. But yeah, Work is a funk band out of Madison. They're going to be playing with the Lavender Project, a band I saw last year at People Fest in Yuba. They are kind of like alternative hip hop, high energy, super fun band. And once I saw them, it was like, yeah, let's bring them to town. Chicago Farmer in the Field Knows, Americana Storytelling. Cody's amazing if you've ever seen him. With Edward David Anderson's Black Derby Bible. A new local to Viroqua. Edward David Anderson and his family just moved here about a year or so ago. You may have seen him last year at Driftless Music Festival in Backyard Tire Fire. Those guys rocked. If you were there, that was kind of when the storm was coming in, the wind was picking up, and the big banner was blowing against the drummer, and he was still just going crazy. Super fun. Ryan Nacy and Buffalo Gospel. Back to Viroqua, but first time at Live in Viroqua. They played a banquet for us for the Music in the Parks at the Pedretti Party Barn in early 2020. And also Driftless Music Festival in 2022, I believe. So Ryan's writing is phenomenal. He's down in Nashville now, but has some good ties to some local folks here. So nice connection there. Once More Autumn, just one of those bands that reached out. I get a lot of emails nowadays, so it's kind of become easier booking bands. They send me links and videos to their music, and you know, drive around in the car, listen to tunes. We put a post out on Facebook. Who do you want to see? Brandy and I one day just listened to music for like 4 hours and just got lost up. So it's fun. So they're going to be opening up Hot Like Mars with the Hereafters on July 5th. That'll be a huge weekend, holiday weekend. Hot Like Mars, another kind of funk band, keyboards, guitars. It's going to be high energy, a lot of dancing involved with the Hereafters. A new kind of all-star band, Dimitri Ratlis from Frog Leg. He is lead guitar, and then Nicholas David, who was a finalist on The Voice a decade or so ago. He plays keys. July 19th. It's going to be a fun one. Yeah, buddy. The Big Blue and Greg Hall and the Wrecking Ball. The Big Blue. I think I saw them first time when I was about 15. It was about 25 years ago. It was New Year's Eve. I don't know if it was 2000 or 2001. Some venue in Minneapolis. I've been a fan of theirs for that amount of time. So getting them, Greg reached out and said, hey, reach out to Mark Joseph, who's their guitar player and manager. And thanks to Chief, like it all came together real fast. So I appreciate you. Thank you very much. August 2nd, getting into the last few shows, The Getaway, local band, playing with the McNasty Brass Band. They are back to Viroqua. They played the Driftless Music Festival. They're a 10-piece brass band. They're super fun. That's going to be a good one. August 16th, we do have an artist kind of in limbo with a contract and a tour bill, an international artist from Australia. So hopefully that we can announce soon. And then Ian George is coming from, I believe, Eugene, Oregon. If you've heard of the Endra down in Ferryville, has anybody been to any of the shows at Endra? Right, so you know what I'm talking about. I met Ian George there. Sat around the bonfire with him afterwards. Super goofy guy. I don't even know how to. Just come up. You'll get him. And then our finale, Sophie Coyote just came out of nowhere. Sent us an email in regards to getting booked at Driftless Music Festival. She is a country gal, 3-piece. You can check her out on Spotify. That's what I did, and I really loved it. I believe she's out of Michigan. Yeah, she's recorded a couple albums with a bunch of Nashville artists. Really great voice. And then Mae Simpson, who I've seen a few times now. Probably at Driftless Music Gardens. The last time I saw her, she was crowd surfing. She got Austin. Yeah, she's super fun. She's got some pipes and a very, very high energy band behind her. So I think they're probably 7 or 8 piece. So it's going to be a great lineup. Yeah, fun. I don't know if we have any announcements for Driftless Music Festival quite yet.
No, I want to keep a little sense of mystery, but we are, the Driftless Music Festival announced that, again, that's going to be July 12th and at the Eckhart Park, and we'll be announcing that mid-April. Just kind of waiting for some pieces to come together, but it's going to be great. I guarantee it.
Yeah.
And something that, we should always mention, obviously, is that we have local food trucks there and local vendors, and we try to support the local businesses as best we can. So it's not just, so anybody that comes to these festivals, these events, they're also supporting the local businesses. If they're not supporting them right there at the festival, they're making their way downtown. Well, like I was saying about how important it is for us to keep things free and accessible to people of all ages and all backgrounds. And, we don't want to just pigeonhole ourselves also into having a certain kind of, person according to how they voted or how they're one way or the other. We want people to all feel welcome in a community space. And the spaces like that are on a street or in a park. That's where people can all be able to come together. And that's a big goal too, is to bring maybe a divided community or divided, folks to one space for the sake of what music. Music always brings people together. And we're thankful for that.
Yeah, that's what I've said over the years of doing this. The music is the ultimate binder, regardless of whatever. And you can come together and enjoy a few hours together in the same space, enjoying the music, and go home feeling good about it. So,
and we keep our events free to local businesses, and as well as individuals. We also sell beverages and merchandise, obviously, that goes right back into Fourthstream to be able to keep these events going. I mean, I can look at the budgets and look at the end of the year, and usually we're just about even every year because we're just putting it on to make sure the next year comes back around.
Yeah, and in terms of local business support, we have a tiered system at anywhere from $250 to $500 to $1,000. We did do a $5,000 tier this year if a business wanted to sponsor an entire evening. But I think last year we did have a $5,000 donator, and that was through Congress, through a tourism grant. The Viroqua Area Foundation was a $3,000 donator. I think we had 16 $1,000 donators. And then the list, I think we had nearly 50 to 60 different individuals or businesses that supported the music. Without that, it doesn't happen. So if you know or own a business and would like to contribute, we would greatly appreciate it. And As always, we will bring quality entertainment. It will always be free, and we will serve amazing food and sell cheap beer.
But anyway, thank you again for having Fourthstream. I think one of the reasons we want to make sure that we get the education out there into the public is that, there's the Driftless Music Festival in Viroqua, and how do those things happen? And it comes down to the nonprofit that does those photos. So, and a great team of people and a great community that be able to support it.
So you guys don't get any compensation at all?
No.
For a long time?
Quality music.
Yeah.
Community. I mean, my payment on those Saturday nights when I get to say goodnight to 1,000 people plus, I mean, there's nothing that beats that payment. It's not monetary that can cover that. That whole experience, that whole day, getting set up and just wandering around the streets, setting the garbage cans, and passing by and go, "What are you doing?" So I get to tell them, and then they show up and they, enjoy the evening with us. Those are the moments that make it all worth it. I mean, I've probably spent 1,000 hours planning this upcoming year. It's every day. I wake up, grab a coffee, look at my phone, and just go from there until I have to go clock in to my actual job at the port. So it's no easy task. Some days I don't want to. But there's also days where I'm like, yeah. So,
Coffee, not much coffee.
no, it's really great. It's super amazing to have the people that I work with on these, to have that support. It's a ton of work. If we go back to that slide of what it all takes,
Yeah.
I mean, there's food vendors and shade haven and beer contracts, city permits and porta potties and staging and sound and
Nonprofit paperwork, that's
all the things.
a lot, too, in itself.
Insurance.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's a lot, but it's all worth it when those 8 Saturdays. Everybody comes. Yeah.
Tell us a little, I'm curious about the stage.
Yeah.
Yeah, look at that. I mean,
So, year one, the stage was some scaffolding the owners of the Fortney had left over from construction phase. And they just got a bunch of plywood, hammered that down, and that was the stage for year one. It was pretty solid. And then moving into year two, Brian's like, I have an idea. Brian is one of the 4 owners at the Fortney. And he's a go-getter, obviously. He took on the Fortney still on. He bought a 1967 flatbed Ford, and it had no brakes. It didn't start. He bought it up in Eau Claire. They got it out to his farm in Stoddard, and he put those folding sides on it. They were going to be hydraulic at one point, but I think they just kind of get a Ford skid steer out there, and it turns into a 16 by 20. Who knows? At some point, that thing might have hydraulic sides, but it currently does not. But it has working brakes now. It runs.
No.
Yeah. And I've actually had inquiries of people. I did some work with the Friends of Breedstown last year for their Labor Day celebration and got flashback and music for them down there. And going into next year, they actually want to rent the stage. And I asked Brian if it was road friendly, and he was like, "I can't drive him to Reedstown." But it's a neat little old truck that the owners of the Fort Meade kind of built into a stage for. That's kind of their like ongoing platinum sponsorship for us. It wasn't cheap. It has been parked behind the Fort Meade, but they just recently got it hauled out to their. So it's probably in September. Probably.
I just had a question in regards to, you talked about the amount of volunteers you use.
Yeah.
How do you secure your volunteers? I mean, if we're interested in volunteering, how do we go about that?
Yeah, well, I mean, you could, either liveinviroqua.com or driftlessmusicfestival.com. Either one will get to the same place. And you can sign up for both, basically just send us an email and we'll okay. I mean, and if you're interested in slinging beers or, I mean, we don't really have security, we just have checkpoints, you know?
Ideally, this year, I would love some more help on the corners, just kind of like a meet and greet. I really want to start gathering more data of where people are coming from. We made a post on our web just to see where people travel from. And, you know, you can probably gauge that most people come out of town, they stay at an Airbnb or a hotel or a motel. So I really want to have some greeters at the entrances. Just to kind of have we want to generate an email in, and we want to know where people are coming. It's something we quite haven't quantified.
Well, there is a super alien way of doing this, you know, actually. Like, it's basically, we can be able to put like something called geo-tracking, where we can track actually people's phones, and we could, not we, but there's some people have the software to do these things, so maybe we should do that in the future.
I believe,
It's
you know,
super creepy.
Tanya and Jake Forcat at all? Tanya kind of has taken over as our volunteer coordinator. But yeah, like she said, if you just email us, we'll send you in the right direction.
Yeah.
We appreciate it if you want to help volunteer, because it's hard sometimes. You get people that commit, and then day up, they don't show up, or something came up, or they had to leave town, and then we're left scrambling.
But the volunteering is so fun though too. Like we're not going to chase volunteers down necessarily. You want people that want to be there, and it's fun. You get to interact with the people. You get to see the music. You get to be like right on in the inside. It's just
a neat thing we're doing this year, kind of, she said if you want to just link beers, we are offering business sponsors to bring a crew. If they wanted, last year Ethos did it. They've already committed to an event this upcoming series, that if you want to bring your employees and you want to sell beer, and you can have information packets or flyers or QR codes or whatever, and you can explain your business and why you're supportive of the event or what you do. We're offering that up to businesses that are sponsors as well this year to bring a crew in, and then have an information station as well as kind of have some fun and sell some beers and meet folks.
I'm curious if you have any plans to do anything like during winter months, or like, I know you're already doing so much and you're not going to need to do anything else. But I'm just curious if there's any.
Well, the Temple Theater does kind of have they do quite a bit during the winter. Finding a venue would be tough.
Yeah.
We did one show in collaboration with the Fourthstream. We had Joseph Huber play, if you're familiar with him. He's out of Milwaukee, just in the lounge.
Okay.
Super fun. It was packed. So it was successful, but the Fourthstream lounge is kind of small, and it's, it's all hard surfaces. So if we could find a venue, I'd probably say yeah.
we've definitely thought about it.
Yeah.
There's like a new partnership with WDRT, and they're actually building a studio in there.
Oh, cool.
I'm not sure what we can do all with that, but that would be an interesting thing to maybe have like music all day, and that's recorded and have it online, and kind of a telethon kind of thing. So it's like a fundraiser as well as bringing in music, because we have musicians that want to play here. We have people that want to be part of the scene, and we want to have them part of the scene, but we only have so many slots. So
Yeah, that's a tough part too, is that having to tell bands no. We book 2 bands a night. We've had events where there's been 1 band a night. So with 8 events, we max out at 16. I bet I've had 160 bands reach out to me this year. So
and the Driftless Music Festival, yet again, with being a volunteer group and doing what we can do, we have like our capacity, and I think we're at capacity unless we have more funding.
Yeah.
Because I think the Driftless Music Festival, for example, is just a one-day festival, but I know how much I can spend on bands, and I really can't go over that unless I figure out some big grant or more funding. It would be interesting to have a 2-day festival, maybe have people camp down at the park bowl and around, so, but we'll see.
That would be fun.
Justin and I are both like dreamers and big idea people.
Oh, yeah.
And,
Yeah.
and no idea is too crazy, really. We at least consider it for a second, right?
Pretty much. Yeah. Pretty easy going. We'll figure it out.
Yes.
So let's say the weather's like gonna be really bad, you know, and.
Doesn't rain on our parade.
Does it
That's
get rescheduled or
We
does it just get eliminated?
Last year was our first event. It was July 22nd. It was in coordination with Viroqua Pride. We would have had work and Kiss the Tiger in town. That is the one show we had to cancel. Work was able to reschedule for this year. Kiss the Tiger, unfortunately, was unable to have a date this year. We've always, like that morning, I scrambled so hard to find a venue,
Like an indoor venue,
an
something.
indoor venue that would allow us to sell our beverages. Because business sponsorships and beverage sales is pretty much what sustains the series. So, I mean, we needed to be able to transfer our beer permit. And the VMH building at the fairgrounds is an ideal spot. Can't sell beer on the grounds. I think I reached out to the VFW. Pride had already gone to the VFW. I called everybody I knew that day. We have still not established a rain contingency that is solid. But we have reached out to many of the people in town that have big buildings or theaters or ability to house a large amount of folks. We just haven't locked anything in. But I always say it doesn't rain on my parade.
That's right, that's right.
And we've been lucky, so.
Yeah, and what's tough about, like, let's just say it rained, it was just, I mean, there's sprinkles and whatever, but when it's dangerous, you know, we have to
Yeah.
make some decisions.
And that night at 5:30.
That was, yeah, it was not.
So we made the right call. I set up in the,
Yeah, we can set up in the rain,
we
do all those
got
things.
poured
We keep
on one
real
morning,
close
set up
eye.
that scaffolding.
Oh, really?
Yeah, maybe Brian and two of his kids, and we got, I mean, it down. But we were like, yeah, it's gonna be done by 2, so.
I mean, and, you know, everything, if we did, like, let's just say that it rained and we wanted to schedule it for a month later or something like that. Working with all those bands and all their schedules, and have them all already booked. And it's also kind of complicated in a way of like, let's say it does rain and Kiss the Tiger, for example, was gonna come, but they've had this booked, you know, 6-9 months prior.
Yeah, they were coming from Omaha
And-
too, so super long drive.
And so they've already like had it there in their budget of what they can do. So we had to work out a deal to make sure that they still got paid, because they could have gone somewhere else and gotten a payday, you know?
Yeah, it's just a chance we take as an outdoor venue. I think I even reached out to like the city for Eckhart Park that day. That shelter seems to be booked every weekend. So it's popular, which is nice, but Brian at some point, yeah, fingers crossed. Brian at one point was gonna make kind of some type of sale to cover the stage. So at least the equipment and the musicians would be covered.
Yeah,
But yeah, if it's dangerous, you
Yeah.
just can't do it. If it's sprinkling, dance in the rain.
I was just watching on YouTube last night, Prince doing Purple Rain at the Super Bowl.
Oh, that was
in the pouring rain.
Best Super Bowl performance ever. That was down in Miami.
It was just pouring rain.
Wow.
Yeah.
I don't know how they could.
That was
convince
the best Super Bowl performance, I think.
Yeah.
Any other questions? Comments? Concerns?
Sorry. All right, feel free to hang around if you have more personal questions, but let's give a round of applause to our Fourthstream guest, Christina.